Hello, spooky crew. Our tote bag drawing is officially closed, and we just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who entered. We are so grateful for the love and the support, and we have loved reading your reviews. Missed the tote? No worries. We're still sending out high-quality vinyl stickers while supplies last. Just email us proof of your rating and review along with your mailing address to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, and we'll get one headed your way. Quick promise, your address is only for mailing the sticker. No emails, no selling info, no funny business, just spooky gratitude. Thanks again for supporting the show. You are the reason we do this. You're listening to the Spooky Darlings, and this is the 10th stop along our Cryptid Crawl, where we are doing cryptids from the state of Georgia, where the cryptids are smooth and a little bit hairy, kind of like a Georgia peach.
Yes.
Edible hair.
Only kind of edible hair.
I just want to say I'm very proud of Haley for when I said, can we have a few seconds of silence? Because I watched her really resist the urge. She was really resisting the urge to go up to the microphone and make some kind of noise. I know she was. I could see it. I was like,
It's hard. It's the contrarian in me, and I can't help it.
I'm so proud of her right now. So, Cryptid Crawl. Oh, and we're going to make this announcement on our social media, but Emily, do you want to, since you got it?
Oh, yeah, sure. So just, we're all busy. You're all busy. We just wanted to let you know that we are going to take a break from our follow-up Friday episodes, or our FUF episodes, as we like to call them. We're taking a little holiday hiatus so we can spend time with our spooky loved ones, and you can spend time with your spooky loved ones. And we will pick it back up in January, but we will continue with our normal Tuesday main episodes and our Cryptid Crawl every other Friday throughout the rest of the year.
That sounds right to me. That sounds great.
Perfect.
So, all right, 10th state, also known as the Empire State, also known as the Georgia State, but it is not the Empire State Building, nor is it where the Empire State Building resides.
Because as our listeners know, we are not very skilled at geography.
And by listeners, I want to say our father, which I've got to tell you that Dad, I went to dinner with him on Saturday, and he said, hey, I really enjoyed your last episode on the Florida cryptids. And I was like, whoa, I'm really proud of these girls and their research, until I heard the way you pronounced orangutan. Or he maybe said orangutan. And I was like, oh, because I say orangutan? I think almost everyone says orangutan. And then he started going, well, it's actually... and I told him he should write it in. I was like, why don't you write this in? We'll read it on a follow-up Friday, but not till January. But I said, well, Dad, you should be proud of me resisting saying that's probably why it's called an orangutan, is because it's orange.
And
because
tang is orange.
That's what I said. And then he said, it actually comes from the breakdown of two words. One is the oran, and the other one is gutan. Anyways, that's about where we left it. And then I told him he should write it in an email. Then that we talk about
start his own podcast with crazy pronunciations that might or might not be correct.
He would be actually really good at that.
He would be a good
I'd be
podcaster.
happy to be a guest that would bring mispronounced words.
Oh,
Plenty of...
I could
Mr. Pronunciation.
so many mispronounced words.
That's a really good name. Instead of mispronunciation. Pronounce. So that's from... I'm assuming you were referencing my kids.
Yes.
So one time when I was like gone for the day, I'd gone shopping for the day and left my kids, who were of age to be left alone for the day. Like, there were some teenagers involved here, but my youngest, wait,
didn't Theo text you?
Theo
saying,
texted me. So
Lola's going to kill me.
Okay, so Theo texted me and said, Mom, Lola just told me that she was going to rip my hair out. And I was like, wait. What? Can I know what happened? Like, what happened before this? And then Lola texted me, well, Theo came up to me and he said, and she wrote this all phonetically, I'm really bad at grammar. And then I told him, no, Theo, you're not bad at grammar. You're not bad at grammar. You're bad at pronunciation. And then Theo said pronunciation. And so then she just wrote, so I told him I'd rip his hair out. Like, duh.
It's so funny because she is not a violent child. She does not like hurt her siblings, but she sure has a sharp tongue.
She does. She's very witty.
The sharpest.
sharp wit.
Kind of
Yes.
like the Aswang, if you remember. The cryptid from Arizona
Arizona.
and the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which actually, if you don't mind, is the perfect segue into my cryptid.
Perfect.
It's a little bit similar. All right. My cryptid is the Boo Hag from Georgia.
Ooh.
And like the Aswang, it is also considered a creature that is perhaps vampiric in nature. So I shall tell you the story. And let me move my microphone. Okay.
Did you notice that you called it the Georgia State? And I think you meant to say the Peach State. I've been holding that in for a few
When? When
minutes.
did I say that? Earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know. I didn't notice.
It is also known as the Georgia State.
Well, it's perfect that you're correcting me now instead of earlier when it would have made sense to correct me.
Emily, I appreciate your self-control.
It's just that you quickly started talking about Dad's pronunciation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do sometimes
Pronunciation.
Sorry. Oh, gosh. Those little kids, they're so funny. Okay. This is the story of the Boo Hag. So this is kind of like I wouldn't even call this an origin story, but this is a story that's commonly told, all right? So there's a man, and he's living in a small community along the Georgia coast. And along the Georgia coast, there's like a ton of these like small communities that are of the Gullah Geechee tradition, which is people from West African tribes were brought over as enslaved people because they came from places that cultivated rice. So they paid a higher price for Africans from this area because they knew how to grow the rice. And that was sort of like one of the cash crops that was grown in this area along the like northern Florida coast, the Georgia coast, and the coast of the Carolinas, and in the islands that are just out from those coastlines, known as like I can't remember, the Golden Islands or something like that. But so there's a man, and he is not really wealthy, but he is living in one of these small towns. He's a really hard worker and he makes a good living. So when he becomes like of marrying age and all the women in the village are like, why isn't this man married? You know, he starts being visited on the reg by all these like hot ladies who are bringing him things like fried chicken and sweets and treats and pies and like kind of showing, look what your life would be like if you chose me as your wife. You'd get this kind of thing for dinner. But this man, he wasn't interested in any of these women because earlier that year, a mysteriously beautiful woman had moved into their village, and she lived alone in a cabin in the swamp. And she was like the only one that seemed to be able to catch his eye. But he noticed that this woman, she didn't really have any friends. She didn't really talk to anyone. When she'd walk into the village, men would like catcall her and she wouldn't respond. She wouldn't look their way. And he just kind of became obsessed with her. He was like, I don't know what it is. I want to get to know her. She's the only one. She's the only one that catches.
The premise for Where the Crawdads Sing.
You know what is funny? I actually said to, when I was practicing this earlier, I said, kind of like the girl who is from that book that I can't remember the name of. I literally could not remember the name of it. But yes, Where the Crawdads Sing.
We think so alike.
Maybe it could be that the person that wrote Where the Crawdads Sing heard this story and was like, you know what? I'm actually going to turn that story into like kind of a cute one. Okay. So he decides that while he's fishing one day, he gets this great idea to break his water jug. And he breaks it, and then he knocks on her cabin, and he says, I'm so sorry, miss, but my water jug broke. Can you get me water? And to his surprise, she smiles a beautiful, dazzling smile, and he gazes into her like gorgeous, like really intense eyes, and she invites him in. And she feeds him a delicious dinner. And they talk, and they laugh into the evening, and then she invites him to stay for breakfast. And she feeds him a delicious breakfast. And after a very short courtship, she agrees to marry him. The only caveat is she does not want to get married in a church in their village. She wants to go into the city and get married by like a judge. So they do. And he said it was wonderful. For the first several months of their marriage, he was being fed the most delicious, grandiose dinners. And then she would just tend to him when he'd come home from work, take care of him. And he said that he would eat this dinner and then fall asleep in a rocking chair while she sewed in the corner, and they just enjoyed each other's company. And then she would help him into bed and he'd sleep. And then he'd wake up and he'd feel refreshed and he felt energized. And all the other men at the village are like, why are you so like energetic all the time and, doing so well? We're all just so exhausted all the time. And he's like, just marriage. It's married to this super hot lady.
Married to a hottie.
But he wakes
Did he
up.
ever catch her name?
I don't have any of their names.
Boo Hag, obviously.
That's why I'm calling him. That's why I'm calling him the man, and her the mysteriously beautiful woman.
Is she fattening him up?
I don't know.
To kill him.
Listen, why don't you listen to the story? Listen, why don't you listen?
Let's make more wild predictions that won't frustrate Nettie at all.
I think listening is a good idea, and I'm glad you suggested it.
Okay. So after a few months, he wakes up in the middle of the night to find that her side of the bed is empty. And he's a little bit alarmed. So he gets up and he figures maybe she's just up doing a chore or something or, doing something. Can't find her anywhere in their cabin. So the next day he goes back to bed, and the next day he confronts her and he says, are you seeing someone? Is there something happening? Because you were not in our cabin last night. And she laughed it off and touched his face and said, oh, my love, you were dreaming. I was in our cabin all night last night. I didn't go anywhere. And so he kind of like let it slide. But a little while later, he woke up in the middle of the night again and she was gone. And so then he started not sleeping very well because he was like, I feel like she's going somewhere. So he woke up several nights in a row and found that she was not there in the bed with him. So he goes over to a neighboring community. And he finds what they call the conjure doctor. And this in the Gullah Geechee culture can be known as the root man or root woman, but it's basically kind of like a witch doctor. It's someone that you go to like for spiritual help or for healing or...
Cool.
So he finds the conjure doctor and he says, hey, and this is a woman. He says like, this is what's happening. I'm waking up in the middle of the night and my wife is missing, but she assures me she's not seeing anyone. And she's so loving to me. She makes the most delicious meals. I don't know what to do. And so she says to him, so tell me, how are the other men in your village? Tell me about them. And he's like, oh, come to think of it, they've all been really tired and really sick. And they're all kind of envious of me because I'm, married to this lady that's cooking such great meals and I've been getting such great rest. But yeah, no one's doing great. And so she says, I really hate to tell you this, but you're married to a Boo Hag. And then he goes, what's a Boo Hag? And so this is what she tells him.
Oh my gosh, this is such a great story.
So she said, a Boo Hag is an evil spirit with no skin. And I can't decide if I should tell you like the origins of it now or after this.
Okay, but to clarify, are there evil spirits with skin? Because I'm pretty grossed out by that idea.
So I should tell you the origins right now so that you understand. Okay. So this is what she tells him. She's like, well, when everyone dies, the Gullah Geechee people believe that there is both a soul and a spirit. And this is because the Gullah Geechee culture is a mix of several West African cultures all mixed together that have Islamic beliefs, Christian beliefs, and also like their traditional tribal beliefs from the West African places that are all mixed together to create kind of this religion. And in this particular belief system, every person has both a soul and a spirit. Now, no matter what, your soul, from what I understand, goes up to heaven. But your spirit was either good or bad. If your spirit was good, it stays behind as a guardian to your family and looks after it. It could be like an ancestral spirit that helps guide you and protect you, watches over your home and your loved ones. If it is a bad spirit, it takes on the physical form of a Boo Hag or another malevolent creature. But the Boo Hag is one of them.
So that's why this one turned into a woman. Malevolent creature, woman.
Yes.
I think that there might be, I'm not really sure, but I think that there might be like if you're a bad man, you actually turn into a different thing. Like a different malevolent creature.
Boo Earns.
Boo
Something.
Earns.
Perhaps. Boo Radley. Just kidding.
We like Boo Radley.
It was the only other person I could think of whose first name was Boo. Boo and Boo Radley and Boo Hag. They're the only two people I know. Okay, so this evil spirit then kind of takes a physical form and it becomes the Boo Hag. And so the Boo Hag is red. And the reason it's red is because it has no skin. It's just the muscles and the blood. And it is visually like an old lady with long, scraggly hair, awfully like gappy, scary teeth, and really intense glowing eyes. And the Boo Hag kills a victim, usually a beautiful woman, and takes their skin and wears it like a suit. So,
that's Ed Gein's dream.
Gross.
Yes, I do believe that Ed Gein appropriated this from the Gullah Geechee people. So, without its skin, you just see a red, oozy, skinless creature. But during the day, it can walk around with the living and blend right in because it basically looks like the skin of whatever person it killed. At night, they remove their skin and they fly around and they look for victims. And when they find these victims, some stories say they suck their blood, but the most common lore is that they steal your breath. So it's like a vampire that takes your breath instead of your blood. And it does this by crawling up onto the chests of men and taking their breath. And some say they even ride the men around, like almost fly on them like a magic carpet. They will ride them around like the town until the men are just left exhausted and depleted completely. And if the men wake up during these dreams and fight, the Boo Hag will often decide to kill them and take their skin. But if they stay asleep through it, they'll just wake up and they'll know that they've had a bad dream and they'll be exhausted, but they won't really know why.
Ooh. Oh, boy.
And then the Boo Hag returns to its home by morning and gets back in its skin, and no one is the wiser. It's ready to blend back into whatever group of people it's decided to live amongst.
That is freaky. I tried to look up the male version of a Boo Hag and I couldn't find anything, but the male version of Hag is Crank. So maybe we could call it a Boo Crank.
A Boo Crank.
Nice.
Boo Crank. Yeah. And so if they don't make it back into their skin before sunrise, they will die because they can't get back into like a different skin and the sunlight kills them, kind of like a vampire. So that's why we say it's vampiric.
Okay.
So then this man says to the conjure woman, well, what should I do? And she's like, okay, here's the thing you need to know about Boo Hags. They cannot fly through a door or window if it is painted with haint blue. And a lot of people say that this is actually where the haint blue tradition originated from, was to prevent the Boo Hags, because haint, as we talked about in an earlier episode, haint is another word for haunt, and they are unable to cross that color of blue. So she said, so keep this in mind. The other thing you need to know is that if she does not get back into her skin before dawn, she will die. So he puts his plan into action. He goes home. Well, first he goes to the paint store and he buys several cans of blue paint while she's out and about, and he stows them away. He hides them where she won't look. And then he goes home and treats the evening like normal. She cooks him a delicious dinner. He chats with her. And then this time, instead of falling asleep in the rocking chair like he normally did, he pretended to fall asleep in the rocking chair. He pretended to fall asleep. And when she whispered in his ear, "Are you asleep, my love?" he didn't respond. And then when he heard her get up and leave, he opened his eyes a crack and watched what occurred. And this is what he saw. She raised her finger up to the light. And then with her other hand, she started picking under her fingernail until she was able to get like a strand or like a thread of skin. And then she threaded that skin through her spinning needle and began spinning. And the skin unraveled off of her, almost like unraveling a sweater. And as it unraveled, it just started to reveal red, oozy flesh and sinewy skin. Or not sinewy skin, sinewy muscles. Because her skin's being taken off by the spinning machine. And as she spun, she's saying, "Spin, spin, spin, oh skin," over and over.
Creepy.
And then, once she was done, she took the pile of skin and she rolled it all up. And she hid it under the stairs, in a closet under the stairs. And then she flew out the window. So he was like completely horrified. He's like, here's this woman I've been in love with. And, no, she's not even human. And she's actually evil. So she flew out the window and he sprung into action. He quickly got out his cans of paint. He painted every windowsill completely around in haint blue. He painted the doorway haint blue. And then upon the advice of the conjure doctor, he left one tiny sliver of one window unpainted, because she needed to be able to get back in. And he chose the window. He chose the window in the furthermost corner of the basement, hoping it would be the last window she would try. And then he went under the stairs and he pulled out the skin that she had rolled up. And he salted and peppered the skin and then put it back under the stairs. So then he waited, and around dawn, right before the sun is about to crest the hill, he hears a rattle at the door and a shriek as he realizes that his wife, the Boo Hag, can't get in the front door. And then he listens as with increasing urgency, he hears her try to get into each window and each doorway. And then finally, he hears her push herself through the basement window, and she comes stumbling up the stairs, grabs her skin, and tries to put it on before the sun comes up. But once she gets it on, she realizes that it's full of salt and pepper, which then burns her. So she tears it off, screaming. And at this point, he had opened up the front door, and she crashed out the front door into the swamp, but then was killed by the sun rising because the sun came up right at that moment. Because without her skin, she could not survive.
Oh my gosh.
So, like I said before, this story is from the Gullah Geechee people who come from West Africa, and they were brought, did I already tell you guys they were brought for rice cultivation and also indigo cultivation, which is interesting because of this legend, indigo was actually a really hot commodity. So it was almost like the people were working for the thing that kept the curse away that they kind of brought from West Africa. But the story is often considered a way for this certain group of people to explain sleep paralysis. And if you look into almost every culture, there is a folklore that explains sleep paralysis. And all of them describe a very similar thing. And the hag crawling on your chest and taking away your breath is everywhere. It's like considered, it's a very common experience, I think especially for men. Because the women I've talked to and the reports I've seen of women who experience sleep paralysis, it's usually like a horned demon that's masculine, or it's a dog that comes and crawls on their chest. But the men that report it, it is often an old lady who sits on their chest and essentially takes their breath and makes it so they can't breathe. So this is very similar to, as I said, the aswang from Filipino culture, which is also present in Arizona. But the aswang sticks its tongue in people and sucks their blood. And it's also present in other cultures, such as in the Caribbean, there's what's called the sequoiant. And also this also carries into parts of the southern U.S. And there's also one called the Ol Hag. Instead of the Boo Hag, it's the Ol, like O-L-E, the Ol Hag. And that's in Guyana and Jamaica. And there's one called the Altamaha-ha in Suriname. And those are basically described as beings that shed their skin and fly off to feed on people's energy. And I think it's the sequoiant and the Altamaha that are reported to turn into balls of fire while they fly.
Oh my gosh.
That is freaky.
And then this is the other thing. There's so under the umbrella of aswang in the Philippines is one called the manananggal. And so it does the same thing where it takes the breath, but it separates its upper body from its lower body, and it has like leaves behind entrails while it flies. And then the only way to get it is to find the lower body and salt and pepper the lower body so that it can't reattach itself and become human again.
Wow.
So I did find some reports on Reddit of people who had sleep paralysis experience with the Boo Hag.
Boo Hag?
So these are
keep her away, salt and pepper your chest.
It just shows you why you got to go swimming in the ocean. Get that salt, like spend some time in the salt water every day. It's just supposed to be good for you. And it also keeps away the Boo Hag, maybe. So this is from the R Weird Reddit. And this is a story from D-R-A-U-U-L. Draw. Okay. So he reports that he had a sleep paralysis encounter with the Boo Hag when he was 21. And he said that it was as if it had a dress made of flowing blood. It crawled on him, and he struggled for what felt like hours. He felt like he was fighting a lion. He said he tried to scream. He was living in an apartment at the time, but all that came out of his mouth was a gurgle. So when he finally got tired of fighting and he gave in, he felt his spirit leave his body. And he said he was floating up above, and he could see his physical body as he floated up above it in the room, and he could see the Boo Hag on top of him and appearing to wear a dress made of flesh and blood.
Oh my gosh.
And he said that he kind of would feel himself hit a barricade of like the threshold, but then he'd kind of float through it. So like he hit the doorway and then floated through it and then was able to like pass through the ceiling of his apartment. And he said as he floated away, it was really peaceful, but then he started to get like a really gut feeling that something was wrong and that if he didn't fight, he'd be lost forever. So he said he started mustered up all of his gumption and started swimming like through the air. And I've had dreams like this where I feel like I'm swimming and fighting to get someplace. So he started swimming through the air back into the room, and he hit like the roof and had to like fight his way through it. And then he hit the doorway of his bedroom and had to like fight his way through it. And then when he got to his body and he was able to sort of settle back in, he immediately regained control and consciousness. And so he said he woke up and went out to all his roommates and was like, "You guys, I was just attacked by an effing ghost." And he didn't know anything about sleep paralysis at this time and had never heard anyone else's encounters with it. So he thought that he had like been attacked by a demon or a ghost.
Oh my gosh.
So he later heard about sleep paralysis, and he's had several episodes since then. And he now kind of knows what's causing it, and he feels like he can manage it, like sort of control the triggers, because like he's aware of what's happening, so he's able to get his movement back quicker when it comes on. But terrifying.
Wow.
Especially if you have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's the scariest thing. And so then another person wrote, and this was a comment to Drowl's thing, was, so I had a similar experience. This is longtime lurker 818. So I had a similar experience and started doing research on both the paranormal and scientific reasoning behind sleep paralysis and sleep paralysis demons. As far as the imagery popping up in every culture across the world, inexplicable. How is it that almost the exact same story every time occurs in every culture? Then he says, on the scientific side of things, sleep paralysis is closely related to sleep apnea. And it's a serious condition that causes snoring, and it reduces your O2 levels. And that's what makes people feel like something's sitting on their chest because they feel like they can't get enough breath. So anyways, I thought that was interesting. And then someone else said, this is Mega Ascension. And they said that they had weird experiences as a teen that were like this. And they realized that they were hypnagogic hallucinations, which is basically what happens in sleep paralysis, where your entire body wakes up except for your brain, which keeps you asleep and keeps you dreaming. And so then you're dreaming on top of experiencing something in real life, which is why often people are like, my eyes were open, I could see the room, but there was like a demon in the room. And he said that he would have conversations. He would see creatures in his in his room like once a month, and he would have conversations with them, and they would respond. And anyway, he just related it to hypnagogic hallucinations.
Whoa.
And then I was chatting with this person I know who told me that they had this experience where they had never heard of like the Boo Hag. They had never even heard of like sleep paralysis, but they woke up with what was like an old lady just sitting on their chest, almost like pinning them down, like leaning over their face with like the most terrifying face and terrifying eyes, and they couldn't move. And they were aware that they were in their room and could see the room, but he also said that he felt like his eyes were closed. And it was really scary because the next day he said he felt like he was being followed by whatever entity this was. And anyway, he said it was pretty scary.
That is
so
very
freaky.
scary.
So the question is, are things like the Boo Hag or things like the Monongal, are they created to explain sleep paralysis, or are they causing sleep paralysis? And then scientifically, we try to find a reason, or like find a reason why. It's almost like you're thinking, why do these stories exist? And instead of like saying, well, maybe because there's actually a sleep demon, people say, well, because they have to find a way to explain the scientific thing that's happening. So I don't know.
Right.
I know that if you've experienced sleep paralysis, it is terrifying and it is very real. And I haven't experienced a Boo Hag, but I have.
It's just so fascinating. I mean, whether you believe in it or not, it's so fascinating that people have these shared stories without knowing anything about other people's experiences. You know, like the commonalities are just so fascinating.
Yeah.
Right, because why is it an old lady? Why is it that across cultures people experience, or men especially, experience a gross old lady who's very terrifying and not attractive sitting on their chest?
Let's ask Freud.
And why? Yeah. And why do women are more often likely to experience the dog, like like a wolf pinning, which is, I've experienced like a wolf pinning down my chest and like breathing in my face. It's really scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's usually what I experience.
Scary. It was a wolf.
not, I don't like see a wolf, but it just feels like a dog jumps onto my bed and like walks around me and like sniffs at, like, especially like my ear. It's really weird. And it's not our
Is
dogs.
it sleep paralysis? Is it
Yeah, it takes me a minute to be able to move.
Oh gosh, that is scary.
But I do like, I can force myself awake, but it just takes a second.
Yeah. Anyway, that is the Boo Hag of Georgia. And
Nice
apparently
job, Nettie.
North
Really,
Florida.
really good job, Nettie. That was
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you.
The Boo Hag of Georgia, also known as the Georgia.
The Georgia, also as the Empire State. But
Also
not
Nothing
Peach
about
State.
peaches.
It's also in North Florida, Georgia, and both North and South Carolina. This is a common cryptid in all those states.
Oh, very cool.
That's it. Yeah.
And apparently in Oregon, according to the story that you just heard.
Yeah, but I wonder if that would even be considered the Boo Hag because it would almost have a different name, like the,
Yeah.
you know? But it's also, a lot of people say it's very similar to the skinwalker in that it it's wearing the skin of someone, not necessarily shape-shifting, but it's like, you know, kind of similar. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
And that's it. That's pretty much all I found.
Nettie, that was cool.
Fascinating. Yeah. Good job, Nettie.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let me take you to mid to late 1800s Georgia in the county of Talbot. It's a pretty rural place, and there was a young woman named Emily Elizabeth Burt, and her father passed away, leaving her mother to tend to their large farm. And apparently she was overwhelmed with having to care for the children and the farm, so she sent her children off to boarding school in Europe.
Oh.
So when Emily returns from Europe, everybody notices that she's off. She's unusually hairy, like she's had hairier arms than people expected. She had heavy eyebrows and sharp or overly pointed teeth. She was withdrawn and like introverted. She seemed off. She looked a little off. And she also had intense headaches. So family members start to notice that Emily has been sleepwalking or slipping out at night, especially around the full moon. She comes back with muddy feet, torn clothing, dirt or leaves on her nightgown, and no memory of where she's been. So family members are starting to notice this.
Uh-oh.
And around the same time, local farmers' sheep and cattle start turning up dead.
Oh, no. I have a feeling that I might know where this is going.
So the livestock is found with their throats torn out, their bodies mutilated, but not necessarily eaten. It's almost as if they are killed for sport, not for food.
Ooh.
No one likes that.
So, you know, people get really protective of their livestock. So, Garvs, I can't talk.
Graves.
Garbage smarty barb.
Close. I don't mean graves. Guards are posted, traps are set, and professional hunters are brought in. People see wolf-like creatures or large canines in the fields, but the tracks don't seem to match like large dogs or a normal wolf, and nobody can manage to kill it. A few do claim to have wounded it, but nobody has managed to kill it. So there is, according to this legend, there is a Bohemian settler that comes to the area, and he was a new immigrant, and he basically said that back home in Europe, they had the same problem. And he said, it's a werewolf and you can only stop it with silver. So he gives the farmer, this is the part of the story that I find the least believable. He gives the farmer a silver cross.
Oh.
Like, doesn't sell it to him. That sounds valuable. That would be expensive.
Yeah.
He is Bohemian, though, so...
Yeah. Easy come, easy go, I guess. He's like, this cross means nothing to me. So he gives the farmer a silver cross and tells him to melt it and turn it into bullets. The farmer does this and he stakes out his property again, trying to watch over his flock. And when the creature comes upon his flock, he fires at the creature. The beast screams, but the scream doesn't sound like the scream of a beast. It sounds like the scream of a woman.
Oh, no.
So the beast flees, and in the grass he finds the severed front foot of the monster neatly sliced off by the bullet.
What? Whoa.
So the killings stop. Life goes on. Years later, the town doctor supposedly confesses that that same night that the werewolf was shot, he treated a young woman for an injury where her right hand was severed at the wrist.
Oh boy.
No.
And the implication is clear that this young woman was the werewolf. So Emily eventually dies and is buried in a small family cemetery in Talbot County. Her stone has a poetic religious epitaph and an image of an open gate. Some modern writers interpret this as hinting that she's finally free of the curse. That is the folklore version, with the shape-shifting woman in the European lore. In reality, I mean, Emily Isabella Burt was a real person.
Did she lose a hand?
I mean, that's where I didn't find, like, the legend says that. It has that whole thing kind of neatly tied up, and then the doctor's confession. But I think that there was, like, a rumor about her having an injury.
What?
But
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think it was somebody playing the thing on their phone.
So not a ghost?
so her relatives remember her as, you know, a dark-haired and heavy-browed woman
Yeah.
who spent time reading occult and paranormal books and suffered from severe headaches,
Me?
She sounds fun.
which were treated with opium, which was the favorite medicine of the time.
She sounds real fun.
And some writers suggest that she may have had clinical lycanthropy, which is a psychiatric condition where someone believes that they're an animal, or another untreated mental illness. And that the werewolf kind of just like came into the rumor mill and like became part of what the community talked about.
I mean, she did go to Europe.
How does one explain, though, the killings of the animals for sport? Because wolves don't do that. Do they?
I don't
Actually, I've
think
never...
they.
I don't
I've
know
never
enough
met a
about
wolf.
wolves.
I haven't met a wolf. I haven't made friends with a wolf.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So her find a grave entry does say, like, it explicitly says that the werewolf tales were pure fiction. So, you know, she was basically just a Georgia era woman that was kind of hairy from a
A Georgia peach.
big local family, and
Hairy like a peach.
you know, like the story.
I mean, they didn't have the same hair removal options that we have today. Like, they're
Yeah, I
probably
mean-
hard to get good tweezers.
Probably really hard to get good tweezers. It wasn't easy to wax. You probably couldn't even really find a good mirror. Mirrors were probably kind of cloudy. Maybe you didn't know how hairy you looked.
She probably had no idea.
You probably, until somebody like painted your portrait, you probably didn't realize what was going on.
And
They're like, I have
stress.
a beard?
The stress of like losing her husband and then taking 12 kids, you said, to Europe and ditching them. That might have just been.
No, I didn't say 12 kids.
Oh,
I just said her children.
Her
I think there
12
might have been 3
12
kids,
children? Oh.
something like that.
I don't know where I got 12 from, but like,
But it wasn't the mother; it was the daughter. The daughter,
The
came
daughter.
back from the daughter came back from boarding school in Europe
oh, I see. I'm sorry.
sharp
and was
teeth
acting strangely.
and a hairy brow.
See, I thought that the woman took her kids over, dropped them off, came back with hairy brow, but it was the daughter. Yeah, well, I somehow got confused
That happens to me all the time.
because who was Emily? Was it the daughter or
Our
the
sister.
mother?
Just
Emily Emily was the subject of the story. Emily was the daughter
Okay,
that was sent away to boarding school and came back and had hairy brows and hairy
got
arms.
it. I think
And
You know
maybe
what?
even sharp teeth.
perhaps.
You know what I find
And-
kind of funny? Oh, finish what you were saying.
Oh, I was just going to say, and maybe she was a werewolf.
Maybe
We don't really know.
Wow.
That was really good, Emily.
So what's this cryptid called?
It is the Talbot werewolf.
The Talbot werewolf.
What I find funny is just in general, even throughout history, you can just always find the description of a woman, whether she's beautiful or not.
And she was either pretty or not. We know very little.
She was a homely woman.
Exactly. Like, do you guys remember that
Stay
child
home.
book?
Stay home.
Plain Tall Sarah.
Sarah Plain and
Sarah
Tall.
Plain and Tall.
Yes,
It's
I
such
do.
a mean title.
I loved that book.
She wasn't she wasn't a beautiful woman, and she knew it.
Oh, that was one of my favorite books. I loved it.
I did love that book.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well,
Yes, but you are right. That is interesting. That is, yeah. We
Yeah.
always know exactly how women look in history, and we rarely know how men look.
yeah, it's just assumed he's a man.
Yep, he looks male.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I think what we often know about the men is whether they had money or not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's unfair a little bit on both sides.
Well, it's just because
maybe.
moneymakers are the ones
Yeah.
that,
But was that bohemian man in your story
Right, the
rich
history.
or not?
He had a silver cross that he just gave away, so I'm assuming he had lots of other silver crosses.
Must have had them in great supply. Oh man. Well, both of my sisters, you guys did so great.
Thank
Loved
you.
your stories.
Thank you. As you are about to do.
I'm about to share mine. And this is okay.
Sorry, if you hear talking in the background, it's just my husband talking on the phone upstairs.
He's got a voice that carries.
Listen, he does. It's booming. Mm-hmm. He probably has no idea.
Okay. So picture this. You're on a small river in McIntosh County, Georgia. It's a warm night. You're familiar with this river. You've taken your small boat on it many times. And suddenly, the current shifts and you get a glimpse of a creature you've never seen before. Was it an alligator?
I don't know.
A large snake?
I hope not.
But it had flippers. What did you see?
Is that a python?
You saw Altamaha-ha, nicknamed Altie. Thank goodness.
Oh,
It's a legendary aquatic cryptid in southeast Georgia.
ooh. And you said it's in a lake?
A river.
Where are the flippers? Are they like where the limbs would be on a gator?
Yeah, where the arms would be. No back limbs, though. And I'm about to tell you a little more about this.
Wow.
So, Altie is said to be a large sturgeon-like creature with the head of a crocodile. Front flippers, no back limbs, and a massive tail with a diamond shape at the tip. Bony ridge all along its back. Said to be 20 to 70 feet long.
That's so long.
And the legend of this creature going back as far as the Tama, a branch of the Muskogee native tribe.
Oh.
Stories of a massive water serpent long before colonizers ever arrived.
Got it.
So we have a few sightings.
Wow.
So besides those ones, like the ones that we don't like have a written record of.
So yeah. Okay.
So more modern sightings. In 1830, a Savannah correspondent reported multiple sightings, including a creature 70 feet long with an alligator-like head, and it switches between crocodile and alligator, just reptile-like.
A lot of people don't know the difference. I kind of do. Go on.
Seen by Captain Delano and his crew off St. Simon's Island. And then 100 years later, in the 1930s, loggers and hunters reported seeing a large snake-like creature in the river. And this is just in southeast Georgia in general. So, we're not seeing names on the bodies of water that this creature is being seen in.
But it's not the ocean.
Correct.
It's like freshwater lakes and rivers.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it could possibly be near, I don't know about southeast Georgia. So I didn't even look at a map, but this is great. So, it was a group of loggers and hunters reported seeing the snake-like creature. In the 1940s, a Boy Scout reported seeing this creature. In the 1950s, 2 prison officials at Reedsville State Prison reported a sighting of a large creature just like in the river near the prison. And in 1980, 2 men claimed to see the creature stranded on a mud bank near Cathead Creek, which then freed itself and disappeared. In 2010, a mysterious aquatic creature was caught on video in the channel of Fort King George Historic Site. And then this last one, remains of an Altamaha-ha creature washed up on Wolf Island Wildlife Refuge Beach. And this incident went viral. The photos were everywhere. and it was revealed to be an elaborate art hoax by artist Zar Delulu,
Well, guess what, Delulu?
who created the creature from a stuffed shark and paper mache. And Zar Delulu is a performance artist. Some call her a art hoaxer. Just thought that was pretty funny.
You trickster.
And I have a photo of it, and we'll put all that on the socials and stuff. So,
Wow.
what do we think? Is Altie real?
Well, yeah. Listen, I'm not
I
going to
want
tell
to know
them.
more about the stuffed shark too. Is that like a taxidermied shark, or do they mean like a stuffed animal shark?
I'm not totally sure. Maybe a taxidermied shark, because
Probably
the
a
photo looks
Stuffed animal
crazy.
shark? Stuffy.
Like,
kidding.
look at that. And like there was like fake guts in it and stuff.
Oh, that is not how I pictured it. It almost looks like Nessie. That looks like the Loch Ness monster.
Yes, they
yikes.
like a Loch Ness type of like a because Nessie is suspected to be of like being an ancient paleosaur.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they do call him or her Altie, Georgia's Loch Ness monster.
Maybe Altie went into the ocean and is working its way towards Scotland, hoping it can find a way into the locks.
I'm like, hey, bestie.
He can be like, "Where's my Nessie?" Mm-hmm. Maybe. I feel
know.
like when like the Musagaki, is that how you said it? People like the
Muskogee?
tribe Muskogee. Well, you said a certain tribe, like was it the Muskogee?
Yeah.
Like when you have modern sightings and you also have like the oral tradition passed down through native tribes, I just would not want to discount that.
I would be like, I'm not going in this body of water.
Yes.
I think that a lot of people explain those like aquatic creatures away with like possibly being enormous sturgeon. Can't sturgeon be like so huge?
Oh, yeah. They can be like the size of a bus. I think they can grow really, really big.
Yeah.
Speaking of sturgeon, at the sturgeon reservoir that we have not too far from here, like towards Portland, a person broke in, jumped in, took like a 9-foot sturgeon from the like reservoir where they keep them and escaped with it.
How?
I don't know.
And
And then did what?
where is this reservoir?
Well, this was years ago. Jason and we stop at the fish hatchery from time to time, like especially when we would have the boys, so we can like get out and stretch our legs.
Uh-huh.
And we heard about it while we were there, like several years
Oh
ago.
my goodness! Like, how would they even get it
That's
out?
nuts.
Like a 9-foot sturgeon that would weigh like 500 pounds or 300. I don't know.
Determined
I'm
people.
not an accurate weight guesser for fish.
I'm imagining pretty heavy, and I'm imagining it would take more than one person to haul a 9-foot sturgeon out of a pool.
Yeah,
Maybe a machine even.
who knows?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I imagined it. Somebody jumps in, tackles the sturgeon, lifts it out because you can lift things easier in water, and then somehow gets it into their vehicle. And I could be wrong on some of these details.
Yeah.
So listeners, if you know what I'm talking about, write in at thespookydarlings@gmail.com. But I just think of that story from time to time and I get a chuckle.
Wow. I've never heard of
Yeah,
that.
that's pretty funny.
But now I know why Jason wanted to go to the hatchery in McCall. He's the one that facilitated that the first time we went. And I was like,
because the fish hatchery near us is actually pretty cool.
yeah. Well, I just was like, wow, we're going to the fish hatchery. And it was fun. But now I'm like, oh, this is like something Jason likes to do.
Yeah.
He's like, fish hatchery? I'm there. Let's go. Let's go,
We went
everybody.
a couple times when we were kids. Mom took us a few times.
I didn't go with you guys. That was like when I was in college. So I had never been. Yeah. So you guys had a different experience at McCall than me. I didn't go until I was like in college for the first time.
At McCall, it's like near Hood River. Isn't
Oh,
it?
I was talking about I'm sorry. I was saying that we went the first time in McCall. We went on our family trip with Jason. Jason's the one that facilitated it. You may have
I
been in
see.
Malaysia.
I was
During
during
the
Oh,
time.
if it was the first year Emily was in Malaysia.
And then I was like, oh, we've never thought about doing this before in McCall. And so anyways, but yeah, I did go to the fish hatchery, like in the Dalles and stuff with
Yeah.
Mom. I do remember that.
Okay, before we close out, can I just share something that's kind of exciting? I've been tracking all of our like new download locations.
Yeah.
And it's like I get so excited every time we have a new one. I know I kind of obsessively check it, but I've been checking each state that we get a download in. So we now have downloads in 48 of the 50 states in the United States. We're just missing Vermont and Delaware. So tell your friends in Vermont and Delaware to download. I'm really excited to get those last two. And then in addition, we have downloads in 47 countries and in 472 cities, which I'm just so proud of. I'm proud of
Yeah, me too.
my sisters for doing this with us. And I'm just so happy that people are listening. So thank you to our listeners for downloading and for telling your friends. It's just the most fun thing in the world.
And listen, we have a whole episode on Delaware cryptids. We would love it if some Delawareans would listen. And I have just a real quick, since we're not doing Follow-Up Friday, since we're taking a holiday hiatus. Guess who bought the Conjuring house? Guess. Do either of you know?
No.
Guess who?
I do know, but I don't remember his name. I saw it though.
Matt Rife. It was Matt Rife and Alton Castee. They actually secretly snuck in and bought
I
it.
wondered.
So they tried to buy it originally and they were denied. And then they bought the Warrens' house. And then because it was going to go up for auction, that means that instead of the person that was selling it being in control, it was the bank that owned the loan that was in control. And he offered, I guess it's like if you offer more than what the people owe or something. I don't really know how it works. But basically, he's not even necessarily going to be the official owner. He owns now the loan. He bought the unpaid loan from the bank.
Yes.
And so now it might still go up for auction. There's like some confusion as to whether or not he gets to keep it. It's like I'm not really sure. But that's what happened. That's why there was no Halloween Conjuring house auction. Halloween.
Interesting.
I'm going to say that line one more time. That's why there was no Halloween Conjuring house auction.
All right.
Yeah.
Well.
That's interesting. Just say interesting again because I'm repeating the line. I'm just kidding.
Well, moving on. Awkward. No, I'm just kidding.
And this is why my life is so difficult.
Because of your sister, your little sister, Haley.
Who makes the best martinis I've ever had.
Yep.
Oh, Emily, you'll have to find a time. You'll have to find a way to have one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to make her one while we're there.
I know. I just,
Thanksgiving martinis. Let's do it.
Oh, I feel fine about it. If
All
you
right.
feel fine about
I
it.
feel fine about you guys doing whatever
Yeah.
without me.
We wish you were with us.
And we wish you a Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
All right. Well, all right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Who's closing us out today? I opened it, so it's not me.
Em, do you want to do it?
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope everybody has had a happy Thanksgiving. And we will see you in the spooky night.
Yes. And oh wait, there was something I was going to say. I was going to say something like, don't get. Oh, I had like
murdered on Thanksgiving. That would really be a terrible thing to do. That's my Thanksgiving song.
Haley, you wrote it.
I like it.
Just now.
It's really good. Too bad this episode comes out after Thanksgiving. So maybe you should change it to I hope you didn't get murdered on Thanksgiving.
No, I'm going to keep it as is. It's perfect.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Goodbye.
5 stars. Before we disappear into the shadows, don't forget, we're still sending out vinyl stickers. Leave us a rating and review and email us proof to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, along with your mailing address, and we'll send you some spooky snail mail while supplies last. And if your heart is still mourning that tote bag, may we gently tempt your way toward our merch store at thespookydarlings.printful.me. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Thanks for listening. And as always, stay spooky.